Hey guys, it's Doc, and guess what we're talking about today? We are talking about summer scalping Bermuda grass. Dude, I've never heard of that, Doc. I know. Hold on, I'll explain in a minute. Hey guys, you might hear a little lawn work in the background. One of my neighbors is cutting their grass. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. There's yard work going on in the neighborhood. Anyways, let's talk about summer scalping. Scalping to Bermuda grass is always done in the springtime, and the whole reason is we've got 2 or 3 inches of this dead brown stuff, and we take it down to basically dirt or real close to dirt so that we see nothing but green growing up. But in the summertime, as we start to go through spring, we have that real thick, lush green Bermuda, and then we let it grow a little bit longer. And then the heat starts to come. Oh, let's let it grow a little bit longer. Well, what ends up happening with Bermuda grass is that there's only a certain part of it. It's just like if you trim hedges and they're really round, just the outside will have green leaves. If you open them up and look inside, what's inside? It's usually brown twigs. There's no green on the outside. The same thing sort of happens to Bermuda grass. And I'll show you a close-up of this. Typically, the upper portion is going to be green. The lower portion is going to be kind of a brown, yellowish. And so a lot of people say, hey Doc, every time I cut my lawn, I start to get this brown or this yellow haze, and I get it too. And even scalp marks. If you got that uneven deck, you know, it drives you crazy. You get those little scalp marks in there. I like to take it down. Normally you're going to cut off, let's say you're going to cut off 20-30% of, you're going to cut off just 20-30% of the actual piece of grass. But what I'm going to do, or what I did last week, is I actually cut off almost about 50%. So I took it down. So if my grass was about 2.5 inches tall, man, I took it down to about 1.5 inches, and it looked ugly. It looked ugly. It's a lot like plastic surgery, and I say this, I got a clip from this morning when I was out there showing you the lawn. It's a lot like plastic surgery, and I'll explain that here in a minute. So we're not really talking about a scalp, we're talking about more of a crew cut. We're talking about more of a crew cut than we are a scalp. And what we want to do is we want to take that grass down some in a hard cut. And then what will happen is the green will start to grow up and fill in that area that you can start cutting normal again. So again, if you don't have a sprinkler system, it can be a little bit risky. You don't want to do it in the middle of a drought. So a good time to do it, as an example, this week I looked at the forecast. Every single day on my forecast, guess what I've got? I've got a 60 to 90% chance of thunderstorms for the next 5 days. That's perfect. Let me put up some footage, and I'm going to show you real quick footage from the ugly scalp that we did. Let's look at that first. Now what I'm going to do is, this morning I went out and looked at the lawn, and man, this is about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks after that ugly scalp. I had cut it for the first time, and I want you to look at the grass now. Morning guys. Oh, my usual Monday morning. Wake up at 5 a.m. and start working. Anyways, I wanted to show you this picture. There's dew on the grass, but it still looks pretty cool. This Bermuda lawn is probably the best it's ever looked all year. I'm still kind of shocked. I walked out here this morning. We had a thunderstorm last night, and I came out here and I was like, wow, that lawn looks really good. So why on earth would you scalp your lawn in the summer? Because Bermuda grass is funny. If you look at Bermuda grass, let's go in close here. The very top of thick Bermuda, not thin, thick Bermuda, is green, and then the base of it is yellow. Now this is all kind of wet, but when it's dry you can really see the yellow down here. So there comes a point in time where you need to sort of make a decision, and that decision is every time I cut it I'm getting a lot of yellow. So if you're in the summertime, if you have a sprinkler system, that helps. Or if you're coming up on a period where you've got like 5 days of like 90% chance of thunderstorms, it's not a bad idea to go ahead and scalp it. Now, when I say scalp it, I'm not talking about a spring scalp where you take it down to dirt. I'm talking about a scalp where you actually take it probably a ½ inch lower than you have been. It's going to be ugly, I'm warning you. You're going to have an ugly lawn for about 2 weeks. But it's kind of like plastic surgery. Right after plastic surgery, you ain't real pretty. But but once you heal, you're going to look better. It's the same thing with the lawn. We got to get ugly before we can get pretty. So like I said, this isn't for everybody, but it's a good example of what you can do if you're getting a lot of those yellow marks when you cut. Now, this is not about scalp. If you're going to scalp, if you get scalp marks, we need to fix that. Hopefully you have some scalp wheels. This is different. This is you keep cutting all year round. You cut at the same height, and you're getting a lot of yellow when you cut. That's where this comes in. I was actually shocked yesterday when I cut this lawn because the lawn looked beautiful. It was the first cut after my scalp, after my summer scalp, and the whole lawn was just beautifully green. So how long will this last? I don't know. Maybe I'll get a few weeks out of it before I start seeing some of that yellow again. But the main thing is I want to take that stalk here, and let's say 30% of it is green. I want to go ahead and take it down about 50%, make sure it gets lots of water, and then let it regrow to my normal cutting height. And what that'll do is that'll return your lawn to a solid green. So anyways, guys, I did put down, one thing I did notice is my lawn has a real deep color to it, and I'm wondering if the humic acid that I put down with the folic, it would be the folic acid really taking effect on the roots, and the roots really sort of energizing and picking up a lot of the minerals inside the soil, because I haven't put down any iron lately. I haven't put down a whole bunch of fertilizers, and I'm wondering if that folic acid actually is sort of kicking in, because it's been 3 or 4 weeks now, and I'm kind of thinking it has. I'm trying to get away from that yard noise over there, and I don't know if I can do it enough. Some people say that I have yellowing in my grass, in other words, and I want to address this issue too, that I have like yellow blades that are starting to show up on my grass, and I start to see little yellow. It's probably chlorosis, and chlorosis is sort of, it's an issue where the plant can't produce chlorophyll. So, and what happens is the leaves, if it's chlorosis, typically speaking, the leaves are going to start to turn yellow. You'll start to see that in spots in your yard. You'll start to see little sprigs here and there, and it's called chlorosis. Not necessarily the whole yard and not necessarily in big patches, but let me tell you a couple causes of that. Number one, I don't want to talk bad about products, so how do I do this? There are some products out there that are very high in phosphorus. So if you look at it, as far as the mineral disbursement goes, they've got like 40% phosphorus, and phosphorus is the second number. You really don't want to be putting down that amount of phosphorus. That kind of ties into the new fertilizer that we're getting ready to introduce, which is if you go to any expert on lawn, or any expert, any university, they're going to tell you the right fertilizer blend is going to be somewhere between a 4-1-2 to an 8-1-2 is what you want to put down. That's the right fertilizer. Well, we're getting ready to do a new video on what I think is the world's greatest granular fertilizer, and it's a 7-1-2. You can go to the website when it's up, and you'll be able to see it. Again, I think the company that's going to put it on Amazon for us should have it there in a week or two, and we'll be putting links up on the website. But sometimes if you're putting out one of those fertilizers that has a really high phosphorus, the second number is like really high or real close to the nitrogen, you can start to get it. You can start to get phosphorus. Too much phosphorus can actually cause chlorosis, and you can tell if it's an iron deficiency. It'll usually be on the younger blades, so the top of the blade is typically going to be more yellow. The newer growth is going to be yellow. That's an iron deficiency from chlorosis, and it can be caused from too much phosphorus. The other causes are a pH imbalance and poor drainage. So if you see it in areas where there's poor drainage, that could be a problem. You might want to test your lawn for your pH. that might be a problem. But I got a kind of funny feeling that if you've got really high phosphorus that you're putting out on these fertilizers, you may want to stop for a little while and stop the phosphorus treatments, especially if you're starting to see a lot of yellow in your yard. So anyways, guys, make sure you watch the new humic acid video that we put out. We just put that out. Actually, since we put it out last week, Amazon is sold out. So many people have been going to buy this product. I talked to the company, said, hey, do you mind getting some more stuff there? And they said, yeah, we're going to get some more up there. So if it's sold out, come back to our website, check for it, and make sure and see if it's available, and they should have it more. This new fertilizer that we're talking about, God's Gift, Doc calls it God's Gift to Lawns, which is a 712 100% organic slow release fertilizer that you can just really throw down really heavy. That's going to be a great one. We'll have that up on the website. Go to the product links. You're going to see big thumbnails there, and you can just click. That's the best place to check, and we constantly update it. Make sure you keep going back there and look for updates. I can't stress that enough. Don't just go buy the stuff over and over. Come back to the website and see if there's an update. See if we've changed the links to different places you can buy it. See if there's new application methods or changes that we've done. Before you buy something, come back to the product link and double check it. Click that subscribe button, by the way. You don't want to miss these videos coming out on this new fertilizer. You don't want to miss the videos coming out on a few things that we've got coming up. Like I'm getting ready to shoot tuning scalp wheels on your lawnmower. That's going to be a real important video if you want a real good looking lawn. Anyways, guys, I'm hot, I'm tired, I'm getting ready to go inside. Talk to you later. Done.